All right, folks, welcome to part one of a two-part series on how I improved in mountain biking year over year. This is the first part of that series. It is focused on getting in shape and losing weight. We're going to cover basically three things in this video. One is just establish, yes, in fact, I did lose weight, so that you know I've successfully done that. Two, talk a little bit about that journey and why I went on it. You know, trying to get in shape actually predates me falling back in love with mountain biking. And last but not least, how I did it and what was successful for me. Now, of course, off the top, if you're going on this journey yourself, you should be working with a medical professional. I'm just sharing my story and what worked for me, and in the hopes that it inspires you and gives you some useful ideas. Let's establish this. Did I, in fact, lose weight? What you're looking at here is 14 years of data from my SMART scale. You can see in the top left there, it's saying 10.5 pounds down is the trend over that 14 years. It could be a little bit hard to see. There's the light gray lines in the back, which are the actual data points, and then your blue lines that are your averages. So if you look over there on the far left, and you draw a line from the top of that light gray line to the bottom on the right there, that's basically my daily weigh-ins from the age of 32 to 44, which I am now, and that's where that 10.5 pounds comes from. Put the little blinker up there in case it's hard to see on your screen. So that's great, but there's this huge part in the middle, obviously, where I really struggled, put on a lot of weight, made a couple of attempts. You can see the dips there to lose it, not successfully until the last couple of years. So I hit my peak April 2nd, 2022, 246.3 pounds, the heaviest I've ever been. Put the blinker up there again so you can see that light gray box. Basically 2 years later, 205 pounds, 40-pound loss. Of course, that's not the averages, that's the sort of extremes, but nevertheless quite proud of the progress and being able to keep it off for over 2 years, which, as you saw in the sort of opening graph, is quite a bit better than my previous attempts. All right, but if you look at the blue dots, which is, I think, fair, it's a bit less dramatic because that's how averages play out. Sort of average is around 208 these days, with my average high around 237. Again, that's a 2-year time frame. But if I put the little blinker down on the light gray there so you can make it out, I think that 208 is gonna come down. So that's great. It's a lot of weight loss over the two years, like the weight of a mountain bike, or maybe even the weight of 2 mountain bikes if you're really riding a weight conscious ride, which obviously makes it much easier to pedal up hills and etc. etc. So that's great. Why did I start that journey? How did I get motivated to do it? What was different this time? Well, I think the inciting incident for me was just being out on a walk and realizing when I was 246 pounds that, man, I'm not going to be able to do things that I used to take for granted unless I get in shape. Things like going up Mount Finlayson or the Gruss Grind in Vancouver are, you know, going to be out of my league at 42. And I just wasn't prepared to accept that. So sort of re-motivated myself to try and get that weight in line. I think those are, like, yeah, important moments. A couple of times in life where something like that has happened to me, where you go like, ooh, if I don't change course here, I'm going to end up in a not good place. And so 2 years later, feeling much better about it, and I'm certain that, you know, being in general better fitness in consultation with my doctor is helping me improve on the bike and keep up with my friends that are more experienced and frequently in better shape than me. So that's awesome. Okay, so how? What did you do? This is great news story. Tell us about it. I think like the thing that's most unusual, I just committed to going for a walk every day. Started out with 8K, now up to 9.5K. I can do that distance in less than 90 minutes every day, rain, shine, snow. I try to get out there. I'd say it's not 100%, but I'd say it's like 98% of the time I get out there and I get my walk in. It could seem like a big time commitment, but ultimately 90 minutes in the day for giving you health is great. And so like, why walking? That's like weird, right? Why aren't you doing something like more intense, like running or fitness classes or getting out on your bike, etc., etc.? I think there's a couple of things that really made walking work for me. I love being outside, spend a lot of time at work in the built environment, in front of my computer, in front of a screen. And so the fact that walking is outside made it a big, very attractive for me rather than going to the gym, which I enjoy as well. But that enjoyment of being out in the fresh air and natural light, it's just fantastic. The other thing that I like about it is you can get out with limited preparation. Unlike biking, which is a longer time commitment, typically you can just walk out your front door, go for as long as you're comfortable as you build up, and come back home. So it's really worked for me. It's definitely the number one thing that's contributed to losing the weight and getting back in better shape. Second one, drum roll. Sure you haven't heard it before, but healthy eating definitely factored for me as well. And again, I think, we all have been told it before, more fresh fruit and vegetables. I also eat a lot of like raw, unsalted, like lightly processed nuts and seeds. So really trying to avoid highly processed foods, all the typical stuff that your doctor was likely going to be telling you as you consult with them on this journey. Avoid French fries, avoid potato chips, and in conjunction with a walk every day, you're likely to see results. And last but not least, it's trendy. I experimented with it. I put it up here because I really do think it helped in a period there where I felt like I really hit a plateau. So for me, for a while, I was not eating between like before noon or after 8 p.m. at night, which is pretty reasonable. I think for me, it just helped combat sort of the midnight snackies just by having like a firm and easy rule. I've moved away from that now that my weight's down around to 225. I have lost about 20% of my body mass in the last 2 years, and I can feel a real change. So even on my walks now, I never used to pack water bottles or nutrients. I'm doing that more now as I've got less fuel in the stored fuel in the bank or tank or belly, however you want to put that. And on my rides as well, I'm making sure to take not supplements, but energy bars and things like that in case I need to fuel up on the trail. So I've moved away from intermittent fasting now, but there was certainly a point there on the journey over the 2 years where I do think it deserves some credit for helping to sort of block a stalemate there, where with the amount of exercise I was doing versus the amount of calories I was taking in, sort of helped nudge that in the right direction. Part one, get in shape, lose that weight. That's how it worked for me. Obviously consult with your doctor. I don't think you need to do something as dramatic as this before you get out and start mountain biking. I think you can start at various fitness levels, but this definitely helped less experienced rider keep up with more experienced riders, and improve my skills over the last year. So hope you liked the video. Hope you found it helpful. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss part 2.